I think I've finally mastered Spotlight in macOS Tahoe, so I'm going to show you all the powerful features there and about 20 other Mac tips. Like using Apple Intelligence to auto-categorize reminders, change that spring loading speed when you're dragging files across folders, automatically have the new Edge Light feature when you're on a video call appear without you doing anything, redact PDFs, export your entire Apple Notes history as Markdown files, and a ton more. By the way, if you would enjoy moon wallpapers on your Mac, Federico Viticci at Mac Stories actually had an excellent shortcut that just changes your wallpaper to high-quality moon images, works on your phone and your Mac. I'll link this down in the video description. But for tip 1, let's actually go to reminders. If you have Apple Intelligence on your Mac, there's a great new feature. Go to any list in your reminders, then go up to File, and you'll see Auto Categorize. Click Auto Categorize, and it will take all the reminders in the currently viewed list. In this list, I have a bunch of movies and TV shows I've saved through my different shortcuts. I'll link that shortcut down in the video description as well. But you'll see that quickly, movies released in 2024, TV shows, and upcoming movies, which Apple Intelligence is a little dated knowledge, so these movies already came out. But it'll auto-categorize, and if you have things like grocery lists or tasks, it actually does a pretty good job of categorizing those. Also, urgent reminders is a recent feature in the iOS 26 operating systems, so when you create a new reminder, maybe something like download basic Apple Guy wallpapers, click the eye icon for more details, and not only can you set a date and time for this reminder to be due, then you can also toggle urgent, and you'll even be prompted to make sure alarms are allowed on your phone, because that's where the alarm will happen. And once you create urgent reminders, there's also a new category here in your Reminders app on the Mac where you can see all of your urgent reminders in one place. I did a video showing this feature on iOS as well. I'll link that video above. And here's what those alarms look like. You see it's on my phone even though I created that urgent reminder on my Mac. Next, I didn't know you could adjust the speed of spring loading in macOS. So what that means is when you take a file and you're trying to drag it into a folder, but you're holding the mouse down because you want to put it in a folder within that folder, and sometimes it can take a while for the contents of that next folder to appear and then to drag it into the next folder. Well, you can speed that up significantly. Just go to your system settings on the Mac, and then we're actually going to go to the accessibility settings. Scroll down until you see pointer control, and here you'll see spring loading speed. You can crank this all the way up to the rabbit side. And let's say you want to drag something into a nested folder. I can click and drag it into the working folder. See how quickly that snapped into folder 1, and then snap to folder 2. And now that spring loading speed is much faster. Another quick tip, let's say you wanted to move this file off your desktop into a folder. I can do Command-C, which typically copies it, and if I were to Command-V, it would paste it. But instead, I can do Option-Command-V, and it will actually move that file into the folder rather than just copying it and duplicating the file. Now, while you're here in pointer control on your Mac, if you have a laptop or a Magic Trackpad, you can make it even easier to drag windows around. Typically, when you want to move a window around, you would put your mouse at the top, click and hold on the trackpad, and then move it around maybe with another finger. Well, you can go back to Accessibility, Pointer Control, and then go to Trackpad Options, and here you can turn on Trackpad for dragging, and for dragging style, I put it on 3-finger drag. Now I can just put my mouse at the top and drag with 3 fingers, and I actually find it a little easier to drag windows around and a little faster. So that's the 3-finger drag. Also, if you have a Mac that's 2024 or newer, you can actually enable automatic edge lighting. Now, in order to get to this feature setting, you do need to have the camera active, so I just opened QuickTime and started a movie recording. But then click the camera icon here in the menu bar, and then under Edge Light, you can expand this and choose manually or automatically. Now when you click automatically, if it detects that you have enough lighting, it won't turn on edge light. And you can see here it will automatically appear in low light and will even adjust the brightness of that edge lighting, so you don't have to think about turning it on or off when needed at all. A couple other options in system settings. If you go down to appearance, not only do you have light, dark, and auto mode, but you can actually theme your Mac to a color. It's multicolor by default, but if you want to do something like green, that'll change a bunch of the window and Chrome highlights, and even if you go into like menus, it'll now highlight green instead of blue, and you'll see those color highlights throughout the OS. And while you're here and you're setting your moon wallpaper, you can also change the clock appearance of your Mac. You'll see the preview up here in the system settings window. You can change the font style for that clock. I like one with a little serif font, and you can adjust the weight of the clock. That'll appear on your lock screen. You can also choose to show it on your screensaver and lock, just the lock screen, or never. Now, while you're adjusting settings and learning Spotlight on your Mac, which we're getting to in a second, you need to keep it charged, and that's where today's sponsor comes in, ChukeTick. I'm always charging a ton of devices from my phones, iPads, Macs, and other power banks, and with most other chargers, when you plug in multiple devices, that charging speed drops. Well, no longer, because the ChukeTick 30 Ultra Charge Station can charge up to 300 watt speeds or multiple 140 watt devices, that's full laptops like 2 MacBook Pros at the same time. And it's way cheaper than a lot of alternatives at just $159. First, your MacBook Pro, even the M5 Max at full load can charge at 140 watts max, and the ChuckTech 30 can handle it. It's the perfect companion for high-performance laptops, capable of fully unleashing its potential. For example, when charging the Lenovo Legion R9000P, it can activate beast mode and deliver up to a maximum of 284 watts of charging. You can even see the current output across all the ports with a 1.83-inch display, over 170-degree viewing angle, and you can see it anywhere on your desk. 850 nits peak brightness, and you'll see all the output numbers, plus temperature and power curves on the display. And it supports 13 different charging standards, power delivery 3.1, 140 watts, and all the standards to charge every Apple device fast. And it will also intelligently distribute power rather than splitting ports evenly. So if you plug AirPods into one port and a MacBook Pro in another, it won't split the 300 watts evenly across those ports. That's what other chargers do. The AI-powered intelligent power distribution system means it will only give the AirPods the 5 watts they need and save the most power for devices that can use it. Use the included cable for the best charging speeds and keep all of your devices charged and everything else with the ChuckTech 30 Ultra. You can scan this QR code and get it on Amazon right now, or check that top link in the video description for the ChuckTech 30 Ultra. My thanks to ChuckTech for sponsoring this video. Next up, let's say you need to redact a PDF or hide some information in a document. I'll be honest, up until this point, I was like creating shapes here in preview and then putting it over the information. Don't do that. This tool right here is actually the redact tool. If I click that, you'll then go into redacted mode and it actually permanently removes content in the PDF. You've probably heard lots of cases where a PDF was supposedly redacted, but they just did what I did, putting shapes over it, and the content's not actually deleted. This will actually delete the redacted content. I can click do not show this message again so I won't see the warning. And so now when I enable the tool, and now I can draw a little rectangle over text or whatever I want, and it's redacted. That information is totally gone. This is much easier than trying to create a bunch of shapes and cover up the content. Also, if you have an iPhone and Hotspot on your cellular plan, your Mac can now automatically connect to that hotspot if Wi-Fi is not available. This, you do need to go into System Settings, go to your Wi-Fi settings, and then at the very bottom, you'll see Ask to Join Hotspots. By default, it's on that Ask to Join, but change it to Automatic, especially on maybe a laptop like a MacBook Air, and now it will automatically connect to your phone's hotspot when you don't have internet. All right, now let's get into a bunch of Spotlight tips. I'm actually going to show the keyboard in the bottom right corner of the video. I'll be over here. This way you can see all the keyboard shortcuts I'm using because Spotlight gets super powerful. And I'll put a little Finder guy right off screen. Link to 3D print him down in the video description. So step 1, to invoke Spotlight from a keyboard shortcut, it's Command Space. You probably knew that. You might not know that you can actually move Spotlight around your screen and have it appear anywhere. And then when you dismiss it and re-invoke it, it'll be back in that spot. But if you want to recenter it to the original position, that part I just figured out before I was recording this video. Go to your system settings, and if Spotlight does not appear in your menu bar, go to your menu bar settings, enable Spotlight, and then when you invoke it and it's off center, click and hold on the Spotlight icon in the menu bar, and it will recenter it to the original position. I just learned that. And then you can drag Spotlight back out of the menu bar by holding the Command key, just drag it out, and it's gone. Next, macOS Tahoe introduced a clipboard manager, but by default, it might not be saving your clippings or not for very long. So invoke Spotlight with Command Space, and then tap the right arrow key, and that brings up the different options for Spotlight, searching for apps, files and folders, shortcuts and actions, and also your clipboard history. You can tap Return, and this will show you your clipboard history, everything that you've pasted. But if you don't see that, or want it to save more stuff for longer, click the 3 dots here in the Spotlight window, click Go to Settings, and that will open the Spotlight settings automatically. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see Clipboard History, and here I have it set to 7 days. If you're worried about security and you don't want it to live on the clipboard that long, you can make it shorter, like 8 hours, a workday, or 30 minutes. But for me on my personal Mac, I leave this set to 7 days, because then you can search your Spotlight history, and you can get to that history even faster. The keyboard shortcut I've been practicing muscle memory is Command Space 4. That will automatically go to your clipboard history, and then you can arrow key down to any of your previous clippings, and when you hit Return on it, it will actually paste it automatically. You see it just appeared in the bare note there on the left. So Command Space and then 4, and you'll automatically go to your clipboard history. And if you're looking for a specific link, I can search for something like YouTube, and I'll see all the search results. I see YouTube links, different places, and you can even see a little app icon of where that piece of information was copied from. So these were bare notes that I copied from. This was the Brave web browser, and you can go back all the way in the history. I've used Pastebot for years, and I'm still running it here in the background. I have found some things like rich text and certain Markdown formatting. It doesn't keep it in the Spotlight clipboard history, but does keep it in Pastebot. So stay tuned. I might compare clipboard managers more specifically, but I've really been using the Spotlight clipboard manager more, and doing the Command Space 4 keyboard shortcut has gotten really fast. Now, while you're learning that keyboard shortcut, also get in the habit, if you're wanting to search for files and folders, Command Space, hold your finger on the Command button, and you can do this quickly, and then press the number 2. That will automatically go to the file search. So doing that again, just Command Space 2, and you're in your file search. So if you're looking for a folder or file specifically, what I've been doing more often is Command Space 2, and then start searching for a folder, and that quickly, I just see them appear right here in the search results. Now you can also adjust whether you see icon or list view in Spotlight by clicking the 3 dots here, and you can go to list view. I typically prefer list view. I feel like I can see more information quickly. And so now I can do Command Space 2, search for MPU, and now I see all these search results, and I can go to one, hit return, and it will open that folder in Finder. Once again, Command Space 2, I can do PTS for primary text show, go to a folder, hit return, and it opens that folder quickly. Getting that Command Space 2, typing and return, that can help you find your files and folders really fast. Now let's say you're trying to find a specific document type like a PDF. Well, for that I'm going to invoke Spotlight, start typing an extension like PDF, hit the space bar, and now type the name of the file, like maybe my media kit that I send to potential sponsors. Well, now it's just going to show me PDF results, and I have those files right here. Once again, it's kind of giving me a preview of what that file is with the little preview icon, the logo. I see a Pages document here as well. So I can just type an extension and then a name of a document. That helps me get to it pretty fast. You can also manually filter file search results by doing Command Space. Let me search for Media Kit. And if you wait a second, you'll actually see manual options here. So I can just search for drafts, like from the Drafts app, search Fantastical, search Pages documents, and when I click one, it will automatically filter all the documents that match the Pages format with those words in the document. But there's an even faster way to do that too. I use Spotlight to launch apps all the time. So I'll Command Space and then just type Pixel, and I know Pixelmator Pro is going to launch. I can hit return, and then the app launches. That's how I launched the Reminders app at the beginning of this video. But what I didn't realize is I can search files faster that I want to open in that app by, instead of hitting return, hitting tab. So I'll Command Space, and then rather than hitting return to open Pixelmator Pro, I'll tap the tab key, and that will actually filter file search results by that app. So now if I start typing the name of a document, like PTS for primary text show, it's only going to show me Pixelmator documents from that search term. This has changed the game for me because I know what format or file type the file is that I'm looking for, and I know what app I want to open it in. So I can just start typing the app name, and I had trusted Spotlight to find the app pretty quickly, but instead of opening the app and then choosing the file, I can then tab over, type the name of the file, and then hit return, and it will open that file super fast. So I'm ready to make a thumbnail for primary text show. I'll type Pixel, hit tab, type PTS, and then if I just hit enter, it will then open the thumbnail template directly rather than me opening the app and then selecting the file manually. Saves me a few seconds literally every time I'm opening an app. Did I mention you should listen to Primary Text Show? Scan the QR code or the links down in the video description. Watch or listen on YouTube, watch or listen in Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever. And this will work for pretty much any app. So I can start typing Bear, hit tab, and now I can search within Bear. Maybe I want to search for an Apple Intelligence note. Well, I can just type Apple Intelligence. I'll see all the different notes here. Here's my next shortcuts video where I'm collecting and building those. And so I can quickly open that note before I even open the app. And this works for pretty much every app. So for Keynote, let me search for podcast. And here's all my Keynote files about podcasting. It takes a little muscle memory and training, but typing an app name, hitting tab, and then typing a file name, and then hitting enter has gotten me to get to my files, folders, and opening apps much faster, and this has made Spotlight way more powerful for me. By the way, this even works with mail and messages, and it might be a little faster than actually searching in the Mail app. So if I do Mail and then type JukeTech, I can see all my mail results pretty quickly, and click enter to just open that email. And it's the same thing with messages. I can start typing messages, hit tab, type a search term, and this is going to show me messages search results from different contacts. and I can just hit return and open that message in its conversation. All right, so all that's wild, but there's even more when it comes to Spotlight. You can literally invoke Spotlight, type Amazon, and then a product like MagSafe battery. It's going to show you some history of things you visited, but you can also just hit return, and it's going to open an Amazon search with that search term already going. That's pretty cool. You can even do websites like Best Buy, search for an LG G5, that's my new OLED, hit return, and it will open Best Buy, apparently on LG phone cases. That one didn't work as well, but for Amazon, it works pretty consistently. All right, and last Spotlight specific tip, quick keys are super powerful. Take the time to set some of these up. So Command Space, and Command Space 1 will search applications, and you can start typing applications there. Command 2 for files and folders. Command 4 was your clipboard history. Well, Command 3 is for actions. There's a lot of actions just built in. Basically, all the things you might be able to put in Control Center or use in shortcuts, like even third-party app actions, you can do it all here directly in Spotlight, and you'll see the option to add quick keys, and these quick keys will work from the very first Spotlight pane. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna look for the send message command, and I wanna make sure it's the messages one, not any kind of shortcut just yet. We'll talk about shortcuts in a second, but I'll type SM here, and now I can invoke Spotlight, type SM, hit the space bar, send the message, hey, want to do lunch, tab again, choose a recipient, and that's literally going to send the message immediately. So that means you can have a bunch of controls and actions really fast. So SM, tab, the message, tab again, recipient, and as soon as I hit return, that message is going to send. By the way, hit escape if you ever want to kind of get back to the original Spotlight thing. So if I go back to that actions with Command 3, you can program a bunch of these, like start timer. I'm going to click add quick keys here, and I'm just going to make it the letters ST for start timer. I'll hit return. You can also search for actions that are app specific if that app is in the foreground. So I'm going to open Apple Notes. Let me invoke Spotlight. I'll do Command 3 to get to the actions. And here, I already have a bunch of recommendations, but maybe I want new note. And you'll see the option to look for shortcuts, which you can literally build whole shortcuts, add those to your quick keys, or you can search for menu items. This will look at the menu of the app in the foreground, and you can set something like new note and run that automatically, or manually just scroll this entire list and see all the built-in app actions available to you. And if I get down here to notes, you'll see create note here, and I'm gonna add a quick key there, just NN for new note. Now I can invoke Spotlight, NN, and it immediately creates a new note. I can do it from the current selection if I have text selected. I can choose a folder, and if I hit return, it's just gonna create that note in the folder I chose. So I finally realized that these quick keys ultra powerful. And like you could see, you can program whole shortcuts to a quick key. I have one called Quick Voice Memo to Note. I'll put a link to this shortcut down in the video description, but it just starts recording audio, transcribes it, summarizes with Apple Intelligence, and then puts that summary, a custom title, and the full transcript in a new note. And maybe I'll just do VN for voice note. Well, now I can just do Command Space, VN, and then return. Now it's recording the audio, and so this is going to be a new note. It's going to be transcribed for me. So I'm going to stop the audio transcription here. It's going to transcribe it using the built-in transcribe action. Use Apple Intelligence to summarize the note and also put the full transcript, and you'll see it just popped up right here. And now you can create quick voice notes, Command Space, VN, hit return, and you're off recording. Now there's a lot of shortcuts I already run from Spotlight. Like if I need to get app icons for a thumbnail or for a video, I just search for my shortcut full name, hit return, and the shortcut will run right here from Spotlight. But doing these quick keys even faster. And so while I've been creating multiple control centers and putting a bunch of shortcuts there, I'm gonna start trying to get some quick keys set for the ones I use most often and see if that can be even faster. So spend a few minutes, set up your Spotlight, and I think it can go a long way. But let's round out with some more tips. Number one, in macOS Tahoe, you can now export all your notes as Markdown. So you can go to Export As here in the File menu, go down to Markdown, and that means you can also just Command A, select all your notes, export them all as Markdown, and then start your Obsidian Vault if you want to do something with Claude Cowork or with the Note Plan app, whatever you want. Also, macOS Tahoe now has a slow charger notification. So if you have like a MacBook Pro and you plug it into like a 5-watt power brick, you'll see that slow charging notification right there on your Mac. Oh yeah, and there's my new clock icon on my MacBook Air. Also, when it comes to battery, you can go to System Settings, go to Battery, and of course you could do low power mode, but a new feature is for charging. You can actually set the charging limit to, you can actually set this all the way down to 80%. You can also optimize battery charging, or you can even create a shortcut. Now that shortcut action only appears if your Mac has the charge limit feature. It's only on newer Macs, but you can do that too. I'm going to charge it to 100%. Also, you might have noticed that if someone tries to AirDrop and they're not in your contacts, it requires a 6-digit code just to AirDrop, and basically make sure someone is in your contacts, and then you can AirDrop without that code, but there's not a way to turn the code off, unfortunately. Also, if you main Safari like I do on the Mac, you can actually go to the Compact tab view. They brought it back. I don't know if I like it or not, but you can go to Compact, and now the address bar and everything is all here in line. Gives you a little more space to view the website, maybe good on a MacBook, but I don't prefer it. I still keep the tab bar separate, and then I can also see my favorites here. But Compact View, back if you want it. Freeform Tables has also been improved in all the OS's 26.4. And I've actually been using Freeform a little more, mainly for like illustrations and videos, but you can put like rich text items like photos in a table, drag items from your desktop into those tables, easily adjust the rows and columns. And it's now part of Creator Studio, so you also have like the Content Hub. So I can go here and search for like royalty-free images or even like clip art style icons. That's pretty funny. And you can even see like the table highlights when you're about to drag something into it. So yeah, Freeform. Let me know if you use it down in the comments. And I know we talked a ton about Spotlight, but I also want to mention text replacements. Text replacements are really powerful. If you don't have these set up, they sync across all your Apple devices, and you can have everything from full emails under a text replacement to just little things. And you do this by going to System Settings, go down to Keyboard, and then go to Text Replacements. Now I have things like my YouTube channel URL, my different email addresses. There's been a scam going on, someone impersonating me to developers, and I literally have a text replacement for that. So if I want to send my YouTube URL real quick, I do ;BT, hit the spacebar, and that expands into my YouTube channel URL. I can do ;scam, and that expands into the message I send all the developers who have been phished by that scam going on. And I have fun things like iPay will autocorrect to the Apple symbol in Pay, iWatch to Apple Watch, and even AVP to Apple Vision Pro. And all those text replacements are built into macOS. They sync across my devices so I can use them on my phone and my iPad as well. So those are a bunch of macOS tips, including some in-depth Spotlight tips. Let me know. I know there's going to be comments about Raycast, about Keyboard Maestro, about all the things in the comments, but let me know if you've actually tried Spotlight and started using some of these newer features in Tahoe, because I think it's really powerful. I've been getting them under my fingers and it feels really fast. So let me know if you've been using it, or if you try it out and you find it works for you. I'd love to hear about it. I'll leave my last video about some Mac apps that I use on all of my Macs. I'll link that video right up here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and if you want even more tips and shortcuts, I have an entire shortcuts community you can join for free by scanning this QR code or going to shortcut.bot. There's a community of over 4,000 people there, and I also, for paying members, do weekly live streams where I build shortcuts, but we've also been kind of going into some AI productivity, like with Claude Cowork. I just did an in-depth Spotlight tips in my last live stream, which you can watch all the past live streams on demand when you become a member. So you can scan this QR code, shortcut.bot, and I'll leave another video up here that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.